In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a thematic map. For example, a map showing the Latino share of citizen voting age population, block by block in a given jurisdiction. In this case, we'll use Carlsbad as an example. First of all, we want to open a map that has the geography for the jurisdiction. Note that when you open redistricting, it's going to say redistricting plan as your file type. You need to change this to map because we don't want a plan, we just need a simple map. Next, we have to choose which map. The key thing is to get one that has the right geography and that has the overlays, streets, and things like that that you want. In this case, I'm going to open the Carlsbad base map. Usually, it will be the base map. Sometimes you have to use a plan map. But hopefully your base maps are all set up. So now you see this one's been set up. It has the current districts on it. You can see those lines. It has the census blocks. But one thing we need to check is to make sure we have the right version of the census blocks. So I'm going to go up here to the map layers, click layers, go to the block layer, and then come down here to the file name and see, okay, it's census block V4. That's good. V4 is the official California redistricting data. So this is the correct data. That's good news. Now, if we're going to do this the long way, we would make block our active layer, come over here to the thematic theme wizard, the way we put color themes on our maps. Then for field, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom to our percentage fields. And down here we have all the fields that are set up as percentages already calculated. So Latino CVAP, Asian CVAP, renters, apartments, all kinds of things like that. So we would pick the field, and then we would have to do lots of work to figure out what ranges do we want, do optimal breaks, equal numbers of features. These are all, and then choose the number of classes and the styles. But this is all set up as our NDC standards. So we don't have to do any of that. So what we do is say load. So then we go through step by step. You go choose your census block layer, choose the theme map wizard, say load from settings file. And then in the map data folder, where we have all of our basics, we have to get past all the folders. We come over here to coloring schemes. So we pick the coloring schemes.stg file, and then pick ethnic thematic. We need to get rid of these other ones because we never use them. But pick ethnic thematic and say OK. It will say on which field. So the ethnic thematic is already set up with our percentages and our colors. And don't let the name fool you. We also use it for renters, income, and everything else. When it was originally made, we called it the ethnic thematic, but it works for everything. So we're going to come back into our list of fields, go all the way to the bottom. And in this case, I'm going to choose Latino CVAP. Okay. And you can see it already fills in the numbers. It already fills in the colors. I hit OK. And boom, I've got my color scheme. Now you notice how it's giving me decimals rather than percentages. To fix that, again, I confirm that census block is my active layer. I'm over to data view, new data view, and I right click and say field properties. And I scroll all the way down, choose those percentage fields, and say percentage. And if I scroll over in the window, you'll see they're now percentages. The blanks mean there's no population in those. So just as a reminder again, data view, right click, field properties. Get to this window. Or if you can't remember that, data view, table, and modify. And you can enter it here as well. It works in either place. So whichever one is easier for you to remember. Now this does not update actively. I have to go back to my theme window, click on Styles, and hit Reset Text. And it will fill in. This is also where you can change other. You don't have to do this, but it's a nice touch. Change other to no population. And boom, we have our window. So we move it somewhere where it's not going to block the screen. Now, we don't need to know district status. So if I double click on that and bring up the properties, I can hide those items. I really don't need the scale bar either, but that's okay. But notice how I can't see any of the streets. The labels are here, but I don't see them. That's because the block layer is the last layer drawing. It's hiding everything else. So when that happens, come up in here, choose our block layer, and move everything. Move it to the top so that it draws first. Now all of our streets and other details are visible. I think the streets are too faint, so I'm going to make them a darker color. And again, you do this by going into the styles link, and then you can choose local, and you can see the streets much better now. We're almost there. So now I'm going to save this thematic map. File, save as, the thematic folder. Pretty straightforward, Latino CVAP. But obviously you can't put a map into a PowerPoint. So then I'm also going to do File, Save As. The best graphics format is PNG. Just hit the letter P, and it'll jump to it, or you can choose it from the pull-down menu. Now, here's the catch. If your graphics don't look very good in PowerPoint, it's because Caliper defaults to a really lousy resolution level. So when you say PNG, you also have to go to Options and change this from 150 default to at least 300. And I actually often do 600. The difference is not that big, but so if your PowerPoint's getting huge, you do 300. If you're going to have lots of maps, do 300. Save, and I'm done. So let's go through this again, but for a second one. So I'm going to save this map. Now let's call it Renters. Again, census block is my active layer. Go to my theme map, color theme map wizard, and remove the Latino CVAP. Go back to the theme wizard. Load. It's going to remember the coloring schemes settings file. Ethnic thematic. And now let's do Renters. Again, all the colors and ranges are the same and preset. Now the title is preset as well, which is weird, of course. So I need to go in, let me talk through that, double click on the legend, go to the contents window, and just change this to Renters. And again, change the other to no populate, or in this case, no households. File and save. File and save as. Make it a PNG file. It's going to remember my setting, so it'll remember the dots per inch setting. And Renters. So, getting the hang of this. So now I made those two. Save as. Let's do Asian American CVAP. So I save it as the new name, remove the old thematic, block is my active layer, theme wizard, load from settings file, ethnic thematic, and choose from the down at the bottom, Asian CVAP. Not a lot showing up. Again, I've got to change the title, so I'm going to double click on the legend. change this to Asian American CVAP. No population. Save that. And save it as a PNG. Check my options. I'm good. I can just keep going. One thing to note, let me do one more so I can show you the difference. So as you can see, that the CVAP ones are block by block. You can see the individual census blocks have their own colors. The other fields, the ones that are not CVAP, let's do income. I'm going to remove my CVAP. Map wizard, load, ethnic thematic, income. Oh, it's household income over $75,000 per year. This data is not as fine-tuned. We actually download this by block group. If you turn on your block group lines, you'll see the colors change at the block group borders. So just to be aware, CVAP data we can estimate block by block. The other categories, the socioeconomic categories, we have to do by block group. So just an awareness thing, as people are wondering, why is it not so fine-tuned? It's because the data is collected and we can only use it at the block group level. So I'm going to come back here, which is household income greater than $75,000 per year. No households. Save my map. Save my PNG. And as you can see, this gets scoring pretty quickly once you get a few of these under your belt. So hopefully that's useful. Again, the key things are you're going to use that coloring schemes with the ethnic thematic settings file, and you're going to go into the data view, right click, and field properties to go down and change the fields to be percentages. The rest of it is all pretty straightforward. Hope that helps.